What's up, everybody? This is Dark Macek with Brutally Delicious, coming at you with a review of Dream Evil's brand new album, Metal Gods. So, Dream Evil is kind of an old school power metal band. They're not as old as Blind Guardian or even Rhapsody, but their first album is from 2002, and if you don't know it, you owe it to yourself to listen to the song Chasing the Dragon, which is one of the best choruses I've ever heard. It's an interesting time slot, which is contemporaneous mainly with bands like, say, Hammerfall. It's after the first wave, definitely later and influenced by stuff like Halloween, but before the Ailstorm and Sabatons came out in the world. Stylistically, it's kind of interesting. I would say Hammerfall is somewhat of a comparison in that they're both often more of the mid-tempo style than it is Rhapsody, 200 BPM, blazing double bass. But at some points during this album, it hit me, this band was kind of like Sabaton before Sabaton. The singer is not the sort of baritone that Joachim Broden is, but stylistically, in terms of the more mid-tempo plotting, like chants at shows where you're going, hey, 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 I think they did it first. Anyways, this is a band I've been listening to since high school, though admittedly I have not listened to anything they've put out since the Book of Heavy Metal. And much to my surprise, it sounds like it could have come right after. The production is a teeny bit updated. That sounds more like some 2009 releases. But musically, it sounds like a follow-up to an album that was very influential to me during my teenage years. And by that, I mean this album kicks ass. Somehow, in the 20 years since the Book of Heavy Metal, the band has not lost their fire or sold out or slowed down. They're still going strong. The vocalist sounds almost exactly the same as he used to. This is a band, unlike most other power metal bands, that actually routinely tunes down quite a bit. I think they're in C. Off the top of my head, thinking of their contemporaries who tune this low or lower, I can only think of like the song Lionheart by Serenity. Maybe it was an insurance policy of sorts, so that 20 years on, they don't sound much different. God knows it sounds weird when Zakk Wylde tunes down the old Ozzy stuff. But hey, it's killing. Let's get into some tracks. First off, the album just kicks off straight into heavy metal mode. None of that 90-second atmospheric bullshit that is just used as an excuse to walk out on stage with a fog machine on. Heavy fucking metal. Let's go with the song Chosen Force. Before I even saw this song title, I was immediately reminded of their classic song Chosen Ones. This is really solid power metal with a good use of synth orchestrations. Oftentimes, adding that in makes the song sound kind of cheesy or like, oh, we didn't write a clever enough hook, so we need to spruce it up. This is just a great natural addition to an already great song. The Tyrant Dies at Dawn. Super fun adventure song. There's a good build-up, too. It doesn't blow its load in the first 15 seconds of the song. Early on, it's a bit more mellow, but when that chorus hits, motherfucker, you're grabbing a sword. It's one of those you feel like saving the world kind of songs. Very energetic, lots of balls, power metal. Masters of Arms. Here's another great track, another good mid-tempo, like second song in the set. You know, the first song is usually this burning opener, and then the second one's a bit more slow, and everyone can like jump or fist pump to it. This is a great example of that. It feels just like 2004 again. I'm going to say it again. Sabaton before Sabaton. Listen to this song and tell me if you hear it. Last but not least, Night Stalker. I was debating with myself whether this is a Judas Priest style track or a Primal Fear style track. Of course, Primal Fear is heavily influenced by Judas Priest. I'm going to go with it sounds more like Primal Fear. But it's a great power metal song with a moving chorus. Again, not the super like Dawn of Victory style double bass shit, but just Dream Evil being Dream Evil in the best way possible. So going into this album, I was a little skeptical. I mean, where else have we heard the title Metal Gods before? I was actually worried the band was out of ideas and just treading familiar ground. But they just came out with a great fucking album, one that I'm definitely going to revisit, potential album of the year candidate. I've avoided bringing this up until now, but the album I keep referencing, The Book of Heavy Metal, featured both Gus G and Snowy Shaw. You know, big hitters, dudes who play for Ozzy Osbourne, Firewind, and King Diamond. In a way, I think we were all expecting this to be kind of like, was it the X Factor? The first Iron Maiden album without Bruce. Thankfully, this is more like replacing Paul Di'Anno with Bruce. Here's to another 20 years of quality releases, guys. Rock on.
Bowie, Dylan, Marley. You've heard the names and maybe you've heard their songs, but what about the stories behind the records that made titans of music like these so universally loved and important? Join me, Josh Adam Myers, host of The 500, as each week I go through a different album from Rolling Stone magazine's 500 Greatest Albums list from 2012 with an incredible lineup of comedians, actors, and musicians talking about how the music has impacted their lives. New episodes of The 500 come out every Wednesday. Listen now wherever you get your podcasts.